Edibles last night.
Hi. It's Wednesday
Already?
already. You got your mic on? It's. I think
How?
you got to put it this way. You got to put it out. Yeah, so it doesn't fall in. Oh, hello. They probably heard that.
So sorry. Let's try that.
Okay, so again, just let us know if you can hear us. Give
I'm
us a
sure that was plenty loud.
thumbs up. Okay, Sharon is saying hello. Hopefully that means she can hear us. And we're live. Wow. Okay. So we wanted to continue on zippers today.
So we've got one thing left. And then
Yeah.
I think we've pretty much tapped out of
Right.
what
I had
we
a
got.
really long tail.
I could use, can we make a bunch more of those and I can like glue them in? Get the right color thread and I could be rocking it. I could make my own wig.
Right? We could do that with Serger. Serger crochet wig. It could be a new thing.
It could be a thing.
Maybe that could be the thing that
Be
makes us
YouTube
famous.
My own ponytail. I could
ponytail.
get an elastic, and we can have Serger tail. We should totally try that. Just for kicks and giggles.
Do that. Yes.
We should totally do that. Get some brown and some coppers and a bunch of different colors, and just make that a chain.
Yeah.
Because I definitely need it. I'm having some hair problems. I don't know if you guys have noticed my hair is disappearing.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's stress related.
I can't.
It's falling out.
There's how does one block of the month
I don't know.
that only meets 2 times in a month?
Do you remember about 2 months ago when you were like, are you not stressed? You don't look stressed.
Right.
Do you remember asking me that?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, I'm totally stressed. I'm just internalizing it.
Yeah.
This is the
version
physical appearance of the internalized stress.
Yeah. So, yes, it's crazy around here. We are frantically getting ready for
Everything.
the So Delightful
Delightful,
fabric
block of the month, clubs,
classes.
everything. And we love you guys call us all the time and ask those questions. We love talking to all of you.
Yes.
And we do love talking to all of you. It's just,
Oh my
that
God.
makes it harder to do all of the other
Yeah,
things.
it's been nuts.
It's been so crazy.
We apologize we literally are losing our minds here.
Maybe a little.
I sent Dave a text and asked him, will you help me make a Serger video tonight? I need a cameraman. I have Serger class on Friday and I have no video.
Yeah, I'm figuring that's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was going to do it tonight, but we're going out to dinner tonight for my in-laws' birthday. So happy birthday, Al.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just today.
It's been a weird start to the year. So I think everybody feels it.
I do.
So we're
I
sorry.
agree with that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been an odd few weeks.
Yeah.
So Gene's coming home.
For 2 days.
For a couple of days. He'll be here Friday and Saturdays. If you guys want to come in and razz him, Friday and Saturday, he'll be here. And then he's leaving us again, we're good with that. It's all good. But he's like, so, can we have a meeting on Friday? And I'm like, okay, Sarah's teaching at 10 and I'm teaching at 3. So we'll have like a 2-hour window in between there. And he was like, okay, how about Saturday? I'm like, Sarah's teaching at 10 and I'm It was super funny to hear about the phone.
Yeah, it is absolutely nuts. And everybody is super excited about So Delightful. If you
We are too.
pre-ordered, you're probably going to be getting some emails sometime today.
Yep.
Tucker is working on sending out the balance
She's over there.
information. Peace. Yeah, we could pan over to you. Do you want to say hi? She says no.
She's like, yeah, I'm good.
Because we have a fancy camera that does
We
that.
could totally pan to you. It goes that far.
But it has been a little bit crazy, and we are a little bit frazzled. So
we've got all of the quilting designs done.
Yes.
We're working on getting all of those on the USBs. The fabrics are being folded and ready to go in. We got all of the designs yesterday.
Yes.
So the design books have just arrived.
And the embellishment kits.
And the embellishments are here. So if you ordered any of those things, we get how excited you are. So we're packaging all of that stuff up and we're going to start shipping that as soon as possible. So
yes.
We know we're just as excited as you guys.
I know.
I promise we.
It takes, so, you know, Kimberbell is in Utah. And so when they ship stuff to us.
It takes a couple of days
right,
to get here.
It takes almost 5 days for it to
It
get
does.
here.
We don't,
so,
that's not a 2-day ship, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We're always so antsy. We're like, oh, they shipped.
They shipped.
And then we wait.
And then we wait.
And we watch the calendar. And it's like,
Yes.
it's not here yet.
So it
did just get here. So
coming.
we are packaging and bundling and putting all of your goodies together.
Yes.
And we'll start getting that ready. So wait until you get the email before you come in and ask for it, because it's not all bundled yet. But we will let you know. We are so close.
Yes.
So that is the scoop on that.
That's the scoop on the scoop.
Scoop on the scoop of that. Yeah. So today, I think, is going to be the final zipper day.
I think so.
So
I can't think of any other.
I cannot
we don't have
think
any other. We can't put a zipper in on the scan and cut.
Nope. I can't think of a way to make that work. If I come up with one, I'll let you know.
So we've covered embroidery. We've covered two sewing versions.
I brought over all of the other things that we talked about, just to kind of encapsulate everything. So if you are just joining us and you're like, well, wait a minute, what are you talking about? I don't, what's all this zipper stuff, right? So the first week that we talked zippers, we put in.
Pam Smealman is sad.
Oh no.
I'm sorry, Pam.
Why are you sad?
Why did we make you sad?
Hopefully you're sad about something else.
Yes.
Not about us. So we didn't make this pillow. We put the zipper in the back of this pillow. So we talked about how to make a hidden fold on the back.
Yes.
And using a wonderful foot.
Do you want to show that camera?
It's okay.
Is that okay?
I think we're good. The double cording foot, and we used the 4 to 6, and we put in the zipper and added the fold in, and talked about how to do that. So that was
3 weeks ago.
5 weeks?
5 weeks ago.
Because last week we didn't do zippers.
We didn't.
I don't think so. What did we do last week?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe 4 weeks ago. I don't remember.
Okay.
A few weeks ago we did that. So on the double cording foot and how to do this really professionally finished pillow back. So this is a 22-inch pillow, and that is what we did the first week. We started talking about zippers. And then we were like, hey, this is fun. So let's talk about how to do zippers more, because they're really, you know, they get a bad rap. They're talked about like they're super duper hard. So this was week number 2.
Yes.
And that is done in the embroidery hoop.
Yeah.
So we did this entire bag in the hoop live. It ran a little bit over because
we had a snowstorm.
And we did all of that. So we talked about how to do that in the embroidery hoop. The big trick on this one was, of course, making the zipper longer.
Making the zipper longer.
So that is, actually, that's the trick on all of them, if you ask my opinion.
Yeah.
But that is the one thing that we did there. So number 2 was embroidering in the hoop with a zipper. So that was week number 2.
The new Kimberbell.
This is Pretty and Posh. So I don't actually have the tassel or anything, but there's embellishments that go with that. So tassels that you can put on the zipper, and there's adorable little leather patches that you can put on, little tags, which really give it a finished look, which is really very posh finish.
Very posh, yes.
So that was the second week. And then the third week, what did we, I'm missing something. Maybe I'm confusing Digital Dealer.
Maybe, because that was in there too.
I don't remember. I feel like we did something else, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. So the next one we did was your sewing add-in. So one of these you did beforehand, and one of them you did live. And this was basically making this, but doing it all with your sewing machine. So inserting the zipper.
Yes.
And we used a different foot.
We did.
And look, I'm prepared.
Yes. We used the narrow zipper foot.
So this was the zipper foot that she used there. It's this one's the Teflon. There's a narrow, different versions of that. So those are the other feet that we used there. And so this was basically, we built around the zipper first.
Yes.
And then added the other pieces. So those are a couple weeks going backwards. If you are interested in seeing what those are and you missed us live, you can go back and see some other things that we did with zippers and how to make that way more simple than your brain is telling you that it would have been. So today we've got a serger in front of us, and
we do. Oh shoot!
Well, no, I don't. You do. See,
is that what this little contraption is?
That is what that little contraption is.
It feels really small. It's not the Triumph.
It is not. So she's sitting in front of the Accolade.
Yes.
And this is also an 8-thread serger, which means it will do all of your serging stitches as well as your cover hem stitches. But we're going to just do serging stitches today.
We are.
We're not going to do the whole cover hem thing. So do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so we are using this nifty, it's the P5 foot, which is the cording foot. It is the 5mm foot. And you can get this for both combo machines and standard 4-thread. So any of the baby lock sergers, this foot is available for it. And it has a groove at the bottom, so yes.
I don't know why that just popped in my head.
So I don't know. We might.
Want me to come over here?
Yeah, pop that over there. So show them the tops and the bottoms of the feet.
So here's the bottom. Our standard foot is this one here. The cording foot that we're talking about is this guy here. So there's that lovely groove. We'll flip them over. So here's the cording. And there's the standard. So you can also see the codes.
Yep, BL, P5. And so if you don't have an 8-thread machine, then your foot will look slightly different on the top because this has a space for the cover hem needles, which is the opening that's sort of on the left of those. And yeah, right there. So if your foot looks a little bit different because you don't have an 8-thread machine, that's okay. It'll just have that corner, that edging feature there, but you will still have the groove.
Ta-da.
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 So that's the foot that we are going to use today to insert our zipper. So I'm going to put that on the machine here.
Oddly enough, it's not called a zipper foot.
It is not called a zipper foot because I don't think they want to publicly say.
They're not inviting you to stick a zipper in there.
No, because it could go wrong. Like this could go. This could be like a bad Evel Knievel day.
So
when zippers go bad.
When zippers are not doing what you want them to do. So it's actually called a cording foot.
It is called a cording foot.
Which is why we have some of that stuff sitting in front of us, which you can see right there. So cording is that stuff. And this is actually super easy.
It is.
To do. And
if you need to make piping.
I didn't know how easy this was to do until we did that bag. And I was like,
wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, I can totally do that.
Yes.
I mean, I never tried.
Right.
I never had a pattern or anything that I don't even know if I'd ever bought it, like encapsulated in a fabric or anything like that.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that so easily and have it then perfectly match your project was like, oh, look at that.
Fancy,
it's
fancy.
Just so, ripping fabric is the bomb.
I didn't rip it with enough authority, so it didn't make me feel better yet.
No? Even the sound made me feel better. I was like, yeah.
So the trick to serging your zippers is to make sure, A, that you have a plastic zipper so that when you go to serge over it later on, and second, to make sure that the zipper is way longer than what you need.
That is the key with every project that we've talked about. So if you've missed any previous videos in this instance, they are all longer than what we need. So if your pattern is calling for a 12-inch zipper, an absolute minimum of 14, I would go longer than that personally, because your head is still going to be really close to wherever you're playing.
Yes, it's still going to be.
I would probably go 4 inches minimum larger than whatever your pattern is calling.
Absolutely. So I am going to zoom out just a little bit. Sorry about the camera shaky there. So you can see that I've got this sandwich between. This is exactly what I did last month.
That bag.
With the bag. I've basically just got the zipper folded in here, and I've made sure that I've pulled enough of this away so that when I actually go to stitch this, I keep forgetting it's not in the same spot. No. So what I'm doing is I am feeling where my zipper is, and I need to get that underneath. And of course, I've got all of that thread there, so it's in my way. Let's try that again with a little more authority. So I'm gonna unlock that so that it's a little looser. I need it to be loosey-goosey down there.
Yep, we've got some interesting word choices going on today, don't we?
We do.
Choppy,
okay.
choppy,
choppy, loosey-goosey. All right.
What was the other one? I don't remember what you said now.
I don't either. Apparently I blocked it out. All right, so it doesn't really matter which end you start with. You can start with the left side, you can start with the right side. The zipper can be right side up.
In case anybody is wondering, this is not a pattern or anything. This is just a piece of fabric that we cut. This is not like a specific piece of anything.
So we need to make sure the fabric is down here back by the blade. Then we need to sort of feel that the zipper is right here.
Which is going to line up with the groove in the foot.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm making sure that this is lined up. And so you can clip into your zipper a little bit when you start so that you don't have this over here. I'll try and zoom in a little bit. There we go. So the zipper piece right here, it's sort of folded up a little bit, and that's totally fine because this part of the zipper is completely outside. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that I ride the zipper into this groove right here because this is the area of the foot that has that cutout. And I have way too long of a stitch length on here, so let's actually set it up here. Otherwise, it'll be a surprise. All right. So I've got this on the widest setting. I have my stitch length at about 2.5. My differential feed is on N. My stitch selector is on A. So just a standard 4-thread. You could certainly do this with a 3-thread as well. And I am serging. And I'm close to the end.
Oh, for crying out loud.
And I'm just gonna serge off.
That happens every time.
It's pretty consistent.
Whoever's spamming me always spams me at 350.
So here is the zipper on this side, and then I literally can flip this over, and I have got the zipper right here. And you can see how nice that is. Now, if you don't want this to be this close to the edge, for the next side, I'm going to take the left needle out so that we have a narrow stitch. Do you want to flip that over on that camera so they can see it?
I can do that.
So they can see how close it is. And then I'm going to, maybe I'm going to remove this needle.
So this is basically how it went through the machine. So here's the head that went through. So we have just our standard
Could you get me
stitch.
the little Allen wrench so the needle screw here so I can remove any
And
thank you. I didn't bring one.
when we put that and prepped it into the machine, we made a sandwich. So the zipper went inside the fold. And so when we pull that, we basically have now a perfectly seamed, because it is on either side of that zipper.
Thank you.
Okay.
Probably just toss
And
it to
it
me.
is literally the exact same on both sides.
Thank you.
And the other side, so you can see that as well. So same thing on both sides. And that is the easy way to insert a zipper on your serger. So that's side one.
That is side one.
Sarah is still finicking over there. So of course, if you are actually working this into a project, you're gonna press that, make it nice and pretty. You can do some top stitching if you wanted to. Obviously not with your overlock stitch, but you could do some top stitching if you wanted to do a decorative stitch along your zipper.
Yep. All right. So now on this side, I am going to do a 3-thread narrow. So I've removed the left needle.
Do you want me to do that over here, or you?
I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I removed the left needle, and I am just lining up the fabric pieces so that I'm starting and stopping at ish the same spot. All right, so I changed my stitch length. I changed my stitch selector is now on B because I have removed
don't have a left needle.
the left needle, and
you're going to want those stitches off of your stitch fingers if you didn't already.
And then I'm just feeling to see if I can get that in the right spot. So there is my groove, and
so again, we've got that sandwiched on the opposite edge of the zipper. Even though it looks the same from your point of view, it's the other side, and all of the excess fabric is now off to the left. This one.
it will not come out. All right, so flip that over there.
All right, so here we have slightly more narrow, and if you are eagle-eyed enough, you'll see that we have a 3-thread, not a 4-thread. And there we have, we're going to open that up, and we have the zipper opening in the center. So I'm just going to grab that from the other side as well. And dun da da da, there is our beautiful zipper. So you can see there's a slight bit of difference in the space on the sides, but it's pretty equal. But you can tell at the top here the difference in the stitch. So this is the second stitch. That is the 3-thread narrow, and this is the 4-thread wide. And you can see how that is sandwiched on the zipper there. But look what works. There we go. That's how you insert.
Super easy.
Super easy.
Yes.
So we've got a little bit more fabric. We actually have a lot more fabric laying around here. Do we want to talk about how to do that, as long as we have other ways that you can use this foot?
How easy it is to use the cording foot. Now, typically, I would use cording that's a little bit thicker than this.
Right, this just happened to be what you found.
This is just what we had. So I'm actually going to
do short pieces?
Yeah, and I'm going to double it. So it fills up the gap a little bit.
This is maybe, I don't know, what do you want?
It doesn't matter.
Bump, bump, bump. What is this doing over here? Wow, we sure collect some rando stuff over here.
We do, don't we? All right. So to make piping, normally I just use one piece, but I want this to fill up the gap a little bit more. So I like to slide this underneath my foot first.
You can get that set in the groove.
Yep, so I set it in the groove and then set that down. You definitely want to make sure that you don't pull it right back out And then,
give it a hug.
Yep, then I'm just going to lay the fabric around. And try not to pull it out with the other end.
Right. We would generally have a little bit more, a longer strip, but maybe a more narrow strip.
Yes.
Because you're going to cut off the excess.
Yep. There'll be a lot of waste here, but that's okay. I am also doing a 3-thread narrow, and I would typically do, if I'm doing a narrow, I would do, I wouldn't do a narrow. I would do a 4-thread or a 3-thread wide. And so we'll do one with it like this, and then we'll move the needle position so that you can see where it is. So here is how you make piping, and you can see because I used a 3-thread, there's
narrow stitch.
Quite a bit of play in here. Once I move my needle position over, that's going to hug that a little bit closer. So let's do that. So I'm going to just slide that needle over. So I'm going to put my foot up, lose my cord, move my needle out, and I'm going to cheat. I'm literally just going to take this needle and slide it into the other side.
So this cording foot obviously has more than just a cording option. We've used it for the zipper, and now you can see what it's actually intended for. However, we're still fudging a little bit because we don't have the cording size that we would normally use.
Okay, so stitch back at that one, and then, yep, and I can use this piece, which will be a little narrower. Thank you. It is really nice to have an extra set of hands.
It's the little things in life, right?
Yep. Oh, I got to put the foot down. Yeah, that's important. Okay. So let's make this a little narrower.
Much prettier. You want the cording too?
Yeah, you might as well. And then you can show that underneath the big camera so they can see that a little bit better.
All right, so here is the first one. And you can see again, actually I already lost it, how loose that is. And there's quite a bit of play in the casing here because the needle was so loose down. The casing is, there we go, I got it. Push. So it's not nice and tight. There's a lot of wiggle. And so if we were using that in a project, there would be possible bubbles and wrinkles when we went to sew that in. The second one we have, you can see there's a very large difference. And that is this one on the right over here, and how much tighter that is. And it's pushing that cording into the fold, and the needle is now keeping it nice and tight into there. So it's a much tighter piece. When you go to sew that in, if you're smart, you're going to sew that in with the exact same stitch as you just did to create that piping, because it's going to stitch it in the exact same place.
Yes.
So it's going to work perfectly every time.
Yes.
So the things you can learn.
I know, right?
You really can teach an old dog new tricks.
So
I never knew that was a thing.
Piping, you could do a variety of different things with this foot. But those are the two main things.
Those are the two things that we have played with around here. And it's certainly very easy, as you can see, to do either of the either intended stitch or the not intended, but works just as wonderful when you are looking to do that. So again, this would need to be pressed if you were actually, and you could then go back. and use a chain stitch if you have a cover hem or your sewing machine, and do a decorative or just a standard top stitch.
Yep.
To get that nice smooth edge right next to the zipper teeth.
And this works with chain stitch as well.
Yes.
You can stitch on the opposite side and sew it in, because your needles would be on the opposite side. So yeah, that's one of the really cool things. So that was like really, really quick. But maybe we should talk a little bit about the serger. Like, why are these great sergers?
We can absolutely do that. And if you have one and you're like, yeah, it just sits there because I'm afraid of it, because it can be a little daunting when you buy one of these sergers. You feel like, okay, I have this great thing. They told me it was great. I know it's great. My brain's telling me that it's a great serger, but I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
These are wonderful because they do so much more than just serge the edge of your seam, take the fuzzies off of the edge, you know, so that you can pre-wash your fabrics if you want, because you can serge the edges.
Exactly.
There's just so many options available to you, from the basics.
Yeah.
Creating things from a sewing capacity, and then there are all of the different feet. But these machines take the stress out. And that is, for me personally, because I came into this job having never really used sergers. I'd sat down in front of one, and it was my mother-in-law's, and she had threaded everything and set it all up, and literally all I had to do was sit down and hit the gas.
Yeah.
So that meant I knew nothing, right? I mean, that was just like you borrowing someone else's sewing machine. Yeah. You don't learn anything. You don't know what you're doing. You're just using a stitch.
Right.
And I had created some shears, and I was like, she was like, oh, here, use this. You'll love it. And it worked great. She was right. I did, but I still didn't know really what I was doing and understanding what was happening.
Yeah.
So when I started working here, they really were overwhelming for me, because it was a whole nother world of stitching, and it was like, So I actually bought this machine, a version of this exact machine, and I was like, I have to figure this out, because, I can't talk to anybody about this machine.
Right.
I don't understand what it does.
Yeah.
So I started playing with it and learning, and when I actually sat down to thread it, I was like, oh, what was I so worried about?
Yeah.
Because one, it comes with a threading card. So, my kids could have done it.
Right.
And two, I could look at the picture and go, well, that's what I want. And I knew exactly how to thread it with not even I didn't have to look anything up. I didn't have to watch a video. I didn't have to do anything crazy.
Right.
There was a guide that came with the machine that literally told me exactly what to do for whatever look it was that I wanted.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the stress level just went.
Yeah, you can concentrate on what it is that you're doing.
What did you want to make, not how am I going to make that work?
And I can remember teaching serger classes, and for me, threading was never the thing that I couldn't teach, because I think that people can learn to thread the machine. The part that is so hard for me to easily explain consistently is tension. Because if your tension is different than where it is, it can be...
How do you fix it?
Like, I always feel like no matter what it is you're doing, there are always two options, because you have an upper looper and a lower looper, and they're supposed to meet at the end.
Right.
So if my upper looper is pulling to the bottom, my first assumption is because my bottom is too tight. But it could also be that my top is too loose. So either of those is a possibility. And sometimes
there's too many options to easily
find
fix the problem.
the right balance each time. And if you have to serge a bunch of different things and you are changing, you have to make all those changes. And that is always hard. Do you tighten the upper tension? Do you, because as much as I want it to be a balanced stitch all the time, every serger has little nuances about them, and it makes them a little bit different. All the serger classes we've ever had in here with different brands in there, I always feel bad, because if you bought a baby lock, we spend 5 minutes telling you, okay, you set your stitch selector on A. Okay, so just hold on while we walk through the room and figure out what the balance.
How everybody else needs to set theirs to get theirs caught up to where yours already is.
Exactly. So I always felt like, I always felt bad.
Yep.
Because it's so much harder to do it on another machine. The tension thing.
Yeah.
And so on a baby lock, you essentially have a dial on the side of the machine, and you get like a recipe card, and it tells you put your dial on A, B, C, or D, and that is it. You have 4 choices.
That is your tension options, basically.
It is. It's just so easy. And so, I mean, I went from a 4-thread to a 3-thread, back to a 3-thread wide, and all I did was
go
adjust
from A to B.
Yeah, I adjusted this dial over there, which is the beautiful thing about this. It's always so easy.
Right. So basically on this machine, if you have your left needle in, you're on A.
Yes. And when you take your left needle out, you're on B, C, or D.
Yep. Depending upon what you want it to look like. And, you know, if it doesn't look like what you're expecting it to, you probably forgot to switch that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it, because there really is no machine error. There's an operator error on this one, which we all hate to hear, but that really is the bottom line on one of these auto-tensioned, wonderfully air threading sergers.
Yep.
They just work every time.
They do.
They're so wonderful to sit in front of and so on. They're just wonderful. So when I came in literally having no clue what I was doing,
right,
it just took that I don't know what to do fear away, because I didn't have to know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I just said I want it to look like that. I followed the recipe and it looked like that. I didn't have to figure it out. It didn't matter what fabric I was stitching on. And if I was getting a little puckering, it said, hey, move this switch to fix that. And I'll say, hey, okay.
Right.
You know, so there was an answer for those things. And it's just made it so easy.
Right. But speaking of threading, so, you know, if you break your thread while you're serging, it can be problematic, because you have to make sure that your threads go into a certain order. When you are on your baby lock here, I'm going to I think that's pretty good. So I can thread both my upper looper and my lower looper at the same time. So these are my upper looper and my lower looper threads. They're very staticky. And so all I have to do to get these to thread is to put them in these little holes. So I'm just going to put that in there, and then just need to get a little bit in. I want to make sure I have a lot of tail thread. So I'm not going to do them both at the same time so that you can see. So this is my upper looper right here. So I'm going to push this button over here, and you can watch where my finger is, and you'll be able to see this thread just poof out. There it is. So there is my upper looper, and my lower looper is down here. So I'm going to grab that thread, and there's a giant fuzzy on the end. I used the scissor to cut it. How does that even happen?
It picked something up.
I know, right?
It is so staticky in this shop.
So there we go. And then right here is the lower looper. And there is that. So, I mean, that was so easy.
That's it, guys. And if one of those, for some weird reason, breaks, or you want to change the color or whatever, you change the one that you need to change.
Exactly.
You don't have to unthread the whole machine.
You do not.
To fix them in the proper order.
No.
Because there is no proper order.
That's it.
You just fix the one that you need.
Exactly. It's just
that
easy.
simple.
And going from like a basic thread to something like a rolled hem. We sell some machines where you literally have to change what they call a stitch finger.
You have to literally remove it from the machine. You physically have to pull something off, which in my opinion means how secure could that thing be?
Right? Which one is the right one?
If I can pull it off.
Yeah. So can I do it? Oh, nope, I missed. Sometimes it goes really quick. I am a terrible needle threader without a needle threader.
I'm usually pretty good, but I need tweezers.
I got it. There we go. All right. So that's hysterical. I didn't move the needle though. So I moved it from the tension here. So I'm just gonna slide it over again. There's a hole in the bucket.
In the bucket, dear Eliza, dear Eliza.
Oh. My fingers are really slippery for some reason.
Are you hot?
It must be hot under this light. No, I'm not. I just couldn't grab it. There we go. Okay. So needle is in the right position. So we have a 3-thread. So it's really smart. It will not let you do things that you're not supposed to. So here we have a basic 3-thread. It's really hard to remember.
Yes.
Also super quiet. So our basic 3-thread, all right? So now if we wanted to do a rolled hem on this, literally all we have to do is change this little guy down here. So I have a little button over here, and I'm gonna roll this to a rolled hem. And then my stitch selector guide is gonna tell me to put this on D, right?
Sounds great. I can never remember. That's why I always keep it right next to me. I don't memorize it because it's right there.
And that it's not on that side, no matter how many times I want it to be on that side. And then just like that, I have a super fancy rolled hem.
So we're talking placemats, napkins.
Right.
Tablecloth. I mean, all of your tablewares, you can make new things super fast and easy with that.
Yep.
Dress shirts, you can have a hem of a rolled hem.
Yep.
Like that without doing anything.
And back.
And notice that there's no change in tensions other than that switch on the right.
Yep.
And
it's perfect.
The needle's the same. All we did was roll that dial and switch from B to D.
Yep. And now you wouldn't really do a rolled hem if you had a ton of layers under there. So that would be an impractical thing for me to show you. But here I've quadrupled the amount of layers that I have under here. And
we're still on a 3-thread.
I am still on a 3-thread. And I literally am not doing anything. Apparently I found the
dull spot
of the scissors. So it's perfect. It's exactly where it needs to be on the edge. It's exactly where it needs to be on the edge. There is 0 adjustments that I need to do.
Versus 1 layer of fabric versus what, 8?
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 layers of fabric here, and there are 2 layers of fabric here. And I didn't do anything.
It's exactly perfect on both.
So, I mean, you just can't get
any other machine to do that.
Right. And we could switch to batik fabric. We could switch to knit
blue
fabric,
jeans.
blue
we
jeans.
Could switch. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
It does
will
not
just
matter.
be perfect every single time. So when people ask us, when people find out that Brother and Baby Lock are so similar in their sewing machines and all of that stuff, why would you sell both? Well, this is why, because you're crazy if you sell another brand of serger. And let me tell you, I have sewn on all the brands of sergers. There's no comparison
things
that compare. if somebody tells you that a baby lock serger, like you can't do decorative things, or you can't do thick threads, or you can't do these things, they're telling you that because A, they want to sell their particular brand of serger, and C, because they don't know. They have zero idea. If you do not know what you're doing with this serger, you're going to look at it and think, well, you can't adjust anything. There is nothing that you can do. But you can.
The wonderful thing is you don't need to make the adjustments because the machine does it for you.
Because the machine does it for you. And the cheat sheet card that you get has all of the different things on there to tell you, like you can move threads into different positions and kind of switch them around
and get
to get a different
fancy
fun,
things going on that you didn't even know what was happening.
Absolutely.
And again, the machine does it for you. All you have to do is follow the recipe.
All you have to do is follow the recipe, yes. And this one is not like if you're a baker versus a...
This is one of those things you need to follow the recipe.
Right. But like if you follow the recipe, like it always turns out fine. It's not because like your oven isn't fine-tuned. Right. So it absolutely works every time. So you will absolutely love using one of these sergers. And they're definitely costly. So
absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be a whim. You know, you're gonna plan to buy that.
Yeah,
for
Victories
sure.
start. So a 4-thread,
$19.99,
and they go all the way up to right around $6,000, topping out at the top end line. So you're definitely paying for your Cadillac, but you are paying for your time. You're getting all of that time back, and you will use the machine. Because you can use the machine. It's not a $500 doorstop, which lots of people have $500 doorstops.
They buy a machine. They can't. The threading is such a pain. They use it once or twice, and then they say, "Screw it, I'm out. I'm going back to my sewing machine."
Yeah.
So it's definitely a joy, no doubt. And as we showed you, there are things that you generally will hear people, I wouldn't do that on my serger. Mm-hmm. You did what on your serger? And zippers would be one of those things that most people are like, I wouldn't go anywhere near a zipper on my serger, and it's a breeze. You don't even have to think about or worry about what it is because it's just so easy. So,
and there's another B brand out there that has a lot of the same threading capabilities, and a lot of people think they need a digital screen to tell them what they need their settings to be on. You do not need that digital screen. You just need your cute little cheat sheet that is going to tell you where to put all of your settings, and that is all you need. So I promise these are easy. And they are definitely a great buy. It's a good investment.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're a garment sewer.
You're totally worth it.
If you are making clothes, you definitely need one of these in your arsenal.
It's
the amount of stretch.
I don't use my serger anywhere near as often as I do my sewing and embroidery.
Right.
But man, when I sit down in front of it, I don't have to worry about, I love every minute of what I'm doing there. It's not a stress,
It isn't.
And I will absolutely run a cover hem instead of, if I'm hemming, I'm on my serger. I don't sew hems anymore.
No.
I'm absolutely,
you don't have to.
Exactly. It's a no-brainer.
Yep.
And the class that you're doing this weekend, the flat lock stitch, it's just so cool.
It is.
And it's a serger stitch. So, but you can use it
for decorative purposes.
purposes, You
got to wiggle it.
You got to do the little, there's a little shimmy. You got to do the shimmy, but it is such a cool thing. And I didn't realize really what it was.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I could use that here and I could use that there. And it's such a neat thing. I made a couple things for Caitlin and I ended up doing them on my sewing machine because I wanted a decorative stitch in the middle of some, I was like, I could have totally done that there, and it's just one of those things that you don't think about. So if you have this serger, or one of these sergers and you are not signed up, you should totally sign up for club because it is a really cool stitch.
We're going to flat lock.
We're going to flat lock.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
So that's Friday or Saturday, 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
So, so that is this week's Stitching with SNL.
Yeah.
And
zippers and piping.
Zippers and piping.
And the P5.
But I think that's going to finalize our zip. The only other thing I can think of is if you ever wanted to talk about how you finish
an edge.
Edge. But I don't know if we'll get there, but you never know.
Right.
Maybe someday.
All right.
But that's the only other thing I could come up with if we ever wanted to do that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing one more way to install a zipper. Super easy.
Yep.
And one more
fun
notch in your belt.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today. We will see you guys next time.
All right.